And we've got another nice start to the day, but we got showers and thunderstorms on the way, and our high temperatures, yeah, we're going to hit those here in the next couple hours, and then they're going to start to fall. We got to look at your first forecast coming up.
Plus, we'll take a look at what a Miami Police Department drone showed during a manhunt in Ottawa County, Oklahoma.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. What is so funny? What?
So you folks were probably watching, and you probably didn't hear Caitlin at the start of the show. Well, her microphone wasn't on. I've had that happen about 100 times in the last year and a half. So you saw me give a big thumbs up. I was trying to signal to her that we could hear her, but then it just dawned on me, for you folks at home, it's going to get cold. All right. Yes, let's go. It is.
It's going to be freezing.
Oh, it is going to get downright chilly, and I'm not kidding.
Blast.
Our high temperature today, we're going to hit that like in the next couple hours.
And what is that? Like what?
It's going to be 70.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And then it is going to get absolutely frigid outside. Let's take a look at Skywatch Storm Track. Well, sorry, that's the mode on camera 32nd range line. So this is what it's Friday. It's finally Friday in the 4 states. Here it is. This is the cold front. This line of showers and even a few thunderstorms out there off to our west is the cold front, and it is getting ready to just roll right on through here. So some of us out west, whatever your temperature is right now, probably in the upper 60s out there, that's going to be your high today. Out to the east, we're going to warm up just a little bit before that front rolls through, and then it is going to get downright chilly today. 69 in Joplin right now, 67 over in Pittsburgh. We had cloudy skies across the area. So when kids get on the bus, scattered storms this morning, still gusty winds out of the south at about 25. Winds are still going to be a bit gusty, but calming down. But look at this difference. Mostly cloudy skies by the time the kids get home, 54 by this afternoon. Take a look at these temperatures as they fall through the day. Nice in the morning, showers and thunderstorms with that front. We're going to go mostly cloudy, temperatures falling into the upper 40s by the evening hours, and it's going to get colder yet. We'll look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A fatal crash takes the life of a Neotazi, Kansas woman. The crash occurred Wednesday just east of K99. A Chevy Impala and a Kia Soul were traveling eastbound on U-166 when the Impala crossed the center line and struck a westbound Dodge Charger. The Charger lost control and the Kia Soul struck the Charger. Pamela Long, the driver of the Kia Soul, was killed in the crash. Next of kin has been notified. And in Bourbon County, a 2-vehicle crash takes the life of a Milan, Missouri man. This happened Wednesday night on U-54. A westbound Toyota RAV4 failed to yield to a Jeep Wrangler traveling east while making a left turn and struck the Wrangler. The occupant of the Wrangler, Nathaniel Moorhead, was killed in the crash. And take a look at what Miami Police Department drone showed during a manhunt in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Authorities were looking for Richard Foley, who was wanted on numerous warrants. The thermal imaging feature on the drone showed Foley hiding in the tall grass, where he couldn't be spotted at ground level. The police drone operator directed officers to the location. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, Quapaw Marshals, BIA, and Miami Police Department were all involved in that search. Authorities caught Foley and booked him on a long list of crimes involving burglary, bogus check, and various driving offenses. Authorities have identified skeletal remains found near Humboldt back in March. Dennis Oleshbaugh from Iola, Kansas, disappeared more than 6 years ago. His disappearance sparked extensive searches across southern Allen County. Sheriff Brian Murphy confirms the skeletal remains belong to Oleshbaugh. His family has been notified. The cause of death is ruled undetermined, but the sheriff does not suspect any foul play in Oleshbaugh's death. Caney Valley School District in Kansas is adapting to Caney's ongoing water shortage. KOAM's Amber Jenkins talked with the superintendent about closing school on certain days while still meeting the requirement of school days for the year.
The determination was made. It's a variety of days. The majority are all Monday. We do have a couple of Fridays. Those butt up to our Thanksgiving and Christmas break. where we'll be off. But essentially what we've done is by eliminating those days, we know that we can reduce any consumption of water during those days.
So far, most of the water conserving efforts have been on the district's wallet through purchasing portable trailer restrooms and passing out bottled water. However, truckloads of donations made the bills a little lighter.
In times when we have to, yes, that does come off of our end, but thankfully today was a very big day for our community. So Walmart stepped up and donated 3 semi-trucks full, so I believe it was over 60 pallets of water. And then we also received a donation as well from from Hope as well.
Heavy rainfall will not fix the issues with the reservoir. Caney has been in a drought for more than a year, so heavy rain can lead to flash flooding. However, the drought could lighten up with time.
As long as we just get moderate rain, we don't have to worry about flooding. But the good news here is the pattern that we just started. So as we go through the rest of the fall into the winter, we're going to put a big dent into that drought. So I think Montgomery County by next spring and summer is going to be in a much better situation.
Reporting in Caney, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Caney Valley School District also replaced showers and locker rooms with foam spray that acts as a skin cleaner. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The playoffs are here for Kansas high school football. We'll have the details. Plus, why the U.S. Secretary of State and China's top diplomat are meeting in Washington. And we have another rainy day. We'll have what to expect from today with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, the playoffs are here for Kansas high school football. Last night, several local teams began the postseason, including Colgan, who's looking to like the top team in Class 1A. Colgan opening the Class 1A playoffs at home against Pleasanton. Go to the first snap of the game. Cooper Simmons jumps in front of a Blue Jay pass attempt, says thank you very much, and returns it for a touchdown. 7-0 Colgan in the blink of an eye. Panthers now on offense. Tucker Harrell heaves it deep down the field. Clayton Adamson is there for a 50-yard touchdown. So now it's 14-0 Colgan. Panthers facing 4th and 12 on their next drive. They pick it up, but a fumble gives the ball back to Pleasanton. No issue for the Colgan defense. They're going to get their second pick six of the first quarter. This one belongs to Kyson Bennett. 21-0 Colgan. Pleasanton forced to punt on its next drive. Kick bounces over the head of Anthony Scrimmer, but he picks it up, gets some blocking, and takes it all the way to the end zone. This one never in doubt. Colgan wins 68-13. It's going to host Jayhawk Lynn next Friday. Another 1A first-round playoff game happening over at Erie. Red Devils' season comes to an end with a 48-20 loss to Central Heights. We head over to Class 2A. Riverton opens postseason at home against West Franklin with a dominant 58-0 victory. Same final score as the halftime score. That sets up a matchup between Humboldt and Riverton in the next round. The Cubs also dominate their playoff opener, winning 54-12. Well, Pitt State football returns home for a rare opportunity this Saturday, playing a non-conference game as Sioux Fall comes to Kearney Smith Stadium. With this contest also happening on homecoming, as the Gorillas thinking of the players who have come before.
It's incredible to get the support that we do from our alumni. I just love being around them because of their passion and their energy for this place and this program. And I love, and I know our program loves to go to work for those guys. And we're certainly proud to try to put together the best product on the field that we can for all of them.
We had so many different good receivers throughout my time here. So I just had to be patient. I learned from them, guys like Bryce Murphy, Elijah Harris, Christian Carter. Watched all those guys, just kind of saw what they did, and then focused on making sure I was always doing my job and nothing more than that, just doing what I need to do, and then opportunities came my way.
Over to Kansas High School volleyball. Riverton is headed to the Class 3A tournament, the state tournament. Yesterday afternoon, Lady Rams received a send-off on their way to Hutchinson. After a 4th consecutive trip to state, the Lady Rams are ready for whatever this weekend throws at them.
I'm just excited for the community of Riverton, and we hope that we have a good crowd that's able to make it to Hutchinson and support us. And it's very rewarding to work so hard and to finish at the top. So we just are really excited, and we're going to do everything we can to bring home a state championship.
Still to come, we're going to tell you about 9 simple steps to help prevent stroke. And got another check of that chilly forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:15 now on this finally Friday in the 4 states. And oh boy, you're going to want to go back in time a couple of days if you don't like the cold weather, because today's the day it kicks off. So here's our cold front right through here. Showers, thunderstorms beginning to develop. No severe weather expected out of any of this. And as you can see, it's loosely organized at best, but you can see the outline of that front that's now setting off showers and storms out there. They'll continue to push off to the south and east across the area and bring us some, at least brief, rain chances. Quick look, our camera down on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin, a great view. And somebody did ask, and I want to just bring it up real quick, why do so many of the lights look blue? Well, for some cameras, that's how they perceive the color of LED lighting. And that's just the way it is. And so even our news cameras in some cases will perceive LED lighting with a slightly more bluish tint, even though they don't look like that to us. That's how the camera sees them, and that's why it looks like there's so many blue lights downtown. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line, we're good so far. Same from the MoDOT camera down in Neosho. Roads are dry for the time being. And of course over in Kansas, KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh, but that is going to begin to change as that front rolls on through. 69 in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at 10, gusting upwards of 22 miles an hour. And you can see there's a light haze out there. Nothing too crazy, but it's brought visibilities down a little bit. And I paused the temperature map. Give you an idea right here. The wind arrow shift is where the cold front is, and you can see that temperature shift back behind it. So it's just beginning to work into our area. So places like Yates Center, 67, very likely going to be your high today, because you're right, that cold front is right on your back door. Now, a little further to the east, we're already 70, Parsons, Chautauqua, Independence, Miami, Veneta, 66, Lamar, 68, Carthage. Out to the east, especially right through here, we're going to have an opportunity to warm up a little bit more before that cold front rolls through. So it rolls through, scattered showers and storms, and then take a look at the temperature difference. 46, Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia by noon, still into the 60s, even look at Cassville, mid-70s. So depending on when the cold front gets through, some of us may be a little warmer than others before all of us get in on this colder weather that's going to roll through. Now we go through the overnight, we're going to be mostly cloudy after the front and through the night into our Saturday as well. And we're going to start to see a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now because the environment's not set up for severe weather again, that's been the nice thing. We're not anticipating anything like that. But as you can see, scattered showers and even a couple of thunderstorms will persist throughout most of our Saturday. We had a little bit of a let up, a late night Saturday, then we go back into Sunday morning, and we're going to spend the majority of our Sunday with a cold rain out there. As temperatures just kind of hover, they're actually going to fall back through the day on Sunday as well. So that's going to be a very cold rain. Now, at this point, we're not anticipating any wintry precipitation, but a cold rain for sure. Temperatures falling, so again, on average, we're going to reach the low 70s. We're going to go 54 Saturday, 46 for the low, and that's also going to be our high Sunday, because temperatures will continue to drop through the day back down to about 30. We're going to be pretty chilly Monday, Tuesday, mid-upper 40s out there. So again, Halloween, bundle up as best you can or find an indoor event. Mid to upper 20s for lows, and we'll start to warm up and be a little milder by the second half of next week. That's a quick check of your forecast. We will return with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, an inspiring story out of Florida. An Orlando area dancer is back on the dance floor after losing both of his legs following a battle with meningitis. He's already taking part in a new dance music video and says the future is bright. Jerry Askin reports.
I had a vision, like I'm going to be able to do all the things that I wanted to do, and it's just been so rewarding.
Rafael Castellano is all smiles and says he's grateful.
It's the first time that I actually be dancing on my prosthetic, so it's really exciting.
The competitive ballroom dancer is back on his feet and back on the dance floor after battling a meningitis infection last year, causing his legs to be amputated. He spoke with us last September after undergoing several surgeries. Now, his road to recovery has led him back to his passion.
I've been dancing since the age of 5, and to have lost my legs about a year ago, it was a hard thing to do. I'm not gonna lie, there were moments where I just wanted to give up, but I knew in my heart that I would be here one day.
Here's video of him practicing this weekend for a dance music video soon to be released on social media. He learned these moves in just 2 days from director and choreographer Michael McCrary.
We are doing a dance music video retelling of I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. It's hard not to hold back tears when you're in the rehearsal process because it really is truly an incredible testimony and an incredible just thing to see.
It's personal for McCrary, who said he suffered a leg infection back in college.
I was able to keep it and the doctors were able to find a way to get it out of my system.
What's your message to others about just, hanging in there and being strong despite obstacles they might face?
To not let fears get in the way. Life is going to throw many things at you, and it's your choice to decide how you want to react to it.
I'm Jerry Askin, Getting Results, News 6.
The number of abortions increased in the U.S. over the last year. A new report from the Society of Family Planning found that there were about 2,200 more abortions over the course of the year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. But the decision heavily impacted where those abortions were performed. There were about 115,000 fewer abortions in the 17 states with total or 6-week bans in effect. That contrasts to the 33 states where abortion is still legal, recording nearly 117,000 more abortions. Experts say much of the increase came from patients who traveled from states with bans or restrictions. The new report didn't capture how widespread travel for an abortion has become. Every 40 seconds in the U.S., someone has a stroke, but health experts say many people can avoid having one by living a healthy lifestyle. Mandy Gaither has 9 simple steps to help prevent stroke.
It's a leading cause of death and serious long-term disability in the U.S.
Stroke is actually much more common than we think.
Every 3 minutes and 14 seconds, someone dies of stroke in the U.S. according to the CDC. But addressing 9 risk factors can help prevent most strokes. It starts with keeping blood pressure in check. A healthy lifestyle and limiting salt intake to less than 2 grams per day can help. Diabetes is another risk factor. Control it with glucose-lowering medications, says Dr. Sidoni Abrikji, a neurologist at Cleveland Clinic.
What we like to target in diabetic patients is a hemoglobin A1C of around 7%.
Next, Abrikji says to control high cholesterol by taking statins or other medications. Fourth, be aware of atrial fibrillation, a risk factor for stroke that causes an irregular heartbeat.
They have to be on a strong blood thinner known as anticoagulation.
Getting sleep apnea treated is also key. Those suffering from the condition stop breathing for short periods during the night.
The main ways to prevent sleep apnea are weight loss, but also using a CPAP machine if it's moderate to severe.
Cut out smoking and limit alcohol intake to 1 drink or less a day. Both are major risk factors for stroke, as is what you eat. Abrikji recommends a diet rich in fruits and veggies, nuts, and lean protein. And finally, get your heart rate up at least 4 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes a day. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Stroke Association says many people also don't know the warning signs that signal stroke. These include drooping of the face, arm weakness, and slurred speech. If anyone is experiencing any of these signs, call 911 immediately. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got some heavy drizzle out there, not showing up on radar, but we are getting some of that. Otherwise, showers and storms going to roll through with a cold front. We'll have more on that when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, Pittsburgh attorneys lend a helping hand during Pro Bono Week.
We've got a heavy drizzle falling, at least in the Joplin area and even up in the Pittsburgh area. Scattered showers and storms out there on the way with a cold front and much cooler temperatures. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Freeman Health debut a pair of mass casualty communication trailers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So Halloween just a few days away.
Yes, a lot of people are going to be out celebrating this weekend, actually. The kiddos get Halloween night, but the adults get the weekend before.
Because the adults have to work on Halloween night or the next day after. And not to mention, I don't know how much of that candy ends up being the adults' candy at the end of the day. The kids don't need that much candy.
No.
They get so much. But if you are going out for Halloween, you got to make sure you're bundled up because it is going to be downright cold. We'll have another look at that forecast here in just a moment. But first, let's get you out the door, and we're going to start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. No, I lied again. My goodness, I haven't been hitting the button this morning. Okay, well, that was the MODOT camera 30-second and range line. You got a heavy drizzle out there. You can't see it on radar, and I turned the radar sensitivity up as high as it goes. It's not picking up this heavy drizzle, but it is there. What we do see, though, is the cold front right here, and we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms developing along that. No severe weather expected, so we don't have to worry about that, but these storms are going to roll through, and immediately behind them, it is going to get considerably colder out there. So we got that drizzle falling. Otherwise, cloudy, 68 Joplin and Pittsburgh. And folks out to the east, you guys are going to be a little warmer, a little longer. Folks to our west, Yates Center is a great example because that cold front is on your back door. You're going to get colder a lot faster than the rest of us. 69 for most of us when the kids get on the bus. Scattered showers and storms, gusty south winds at 25. Winds shift out of the north by the afternoon, and take a look at that temperature difference down to 54 by the time the bus picks them up, so you're going to want a comfy coat. And look at this. We start decently temperature-wise. Storms wrap up about noon, little after, and then we are left with temperatures falling through the day back to the upper 40s through the evening under mostly cloudy skies. We're going to take a look at just how cold it's going to get and how that Halloween forecast is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. It's National Pro Bono Week, and celebrations have begun. Locally, the Pittsburgh office of the Kansas Legal Services helps low-income Kansans by providing legal and mediation services. Between 2020 and 2022, they've served more than 1,600 clients. 70% of them are women.
I just had a contested divorce case for a client, and if I were to bill my time at what my hourly rate would be in private practice, the attorney's fees would have been probably $25,000 or $30,000. They ended up paying us nothing.
KLS attorneys assist people who live in households with annual incomes at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. Clients include the working poor, veterans, homeowners and renters, families with children, farmers, people with disabilities, and the elderly. The City of Joplin yesterday held a public meeting to discuss the next steps on the project to widen Connecticut Avenue. Construction on the final phase is set to begin soon. It'll focus on the area from 32nd Street to the I-44 bridge. The project will widen the street to 5 lanes with a curb and gutter. It'll also have a 10-foot wide sidewalk and bike trail on the west side with a 6-foot wide sidewalk on the east side.
People will see it first is some tree removal on the east side of Connecticut. There is also some very important stormwater improvements. Part of this project is, in fact, it's 2 projects. It's a drainage project to improve the overall drainage of the area, and it's a street widening project. So it's a combined project.
The project is funded through a capital improvement sales tax approved by voters in 2014. Freeman Health System yesterday showed off one of its 2 new mass casualty communication trailers. The equipment went online earlier this month. Both trailers can provide rapid emergency aid and uninterrupted communications during a local or regional disaster. One of them will be based in Joplin and the other in Neosho, but according to Freeman Health System, it'll be available to the whole community.
Have the local EMS units come here and pick the trailer up quickly instead of waiting for us. They'll take it to the scene and create a staging area where they can wait for other EMS units to show up and start treating on the scene.
Yeah, this is a great resource to have that you hope that you never have to utilize.
Freeman Health System says each unit has enough supplies to stabilize and do the initial triage for up to 200 victims. Freeman Health Center witnessed an adorable scene yesterday afternoon. NICU babies dressed up in cute Halloween costumes. The outfits were handcrafted by Liberal High School students. The day provided a way to offer parents the opportunity to celebrate their kids' first holiday, even though it's not the ideal situation. Oh dear, things got quite wild after school at McKinley Elementary yesterday. At about 3 p.m. Thursday afternoon, a deer ran into McKinley Elementary School and then into the library. Kids were going to the buses as normal, and witnesses say before you know it, there was a deer in the library. The doors to the library were secured, so the deer was in the library alone. Joplin Animal Control were summoned to come remove the deer. On scene, spectators could see and observe the deer jumping up on the windows that face the atrium. It was jumping at the window continually for a few minutes, tearing down the blinds in the process. The windows, however, did not break. Minutes later, someone opened the library door and the deer ran back outside. No one was injured. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Why the U.S. has carried out airstrikes in the eastern Syria. Plus, survivors of deadly Hurricane Otis try to pick up the pieces of Mexico. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and China's top diplomat are meeting in Washington as concerns continue to grow over the Israel-Hamas war. This latest round of diplomacy comes just days after the U.S. says a Chinese fighter jet came within feet of U.S. Air Force bomber. Natasha Betrin has more on the close encounter.
U.S. Indo-Pacific Command announced on Thursday that a Chinese fighter jet got within 10 feet of a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber that was conducting a routine mission over the South China Sea on Tuesday. That was a really close call, and the U.S. said in its statement that the Chinese pilot was, quote, flying with uncontrolled excessive speed, flying below, in front of, and within 10 feet of the B-52, putting both aircraft in danger of collision. Now, this incident is part of a series of recent incidents where Chinese fighter aircraft have tried to intercept U.S. military aircraft conducting missions in international airspace in the vicinity and over the South China Sea. And the U.S. has said that these incidents are getting increasingly common. According to the top official for security of the Indo-Pacific at the Pentagon, he said, quote, since the fall of 2022, we have seen more than 180 such incidents by the Chinese Air Force, and he said that it is a centralized and concerted campaign to perform these risky behaviors in order to coerce a change in lawful U.S. operational activity. Essentially, the message from the Pentagon here is that the Chinese are trying to intimidate the U.S. and its allies out of operating over this international airspace over the South China Sea. Now, all of this comes as President Biden is expected to meet with China's foreign minister on Friday. The national security advisor is also expected to meet with him, and Secretary of State Antony Blinken had scheduled meetings with the Chinese foreign minister on Thursday. So it remains unclear whether he is going to bring up these Chinese maneuvers with the Chinese foreign minister, but it is something that the U.S. military has been trying to communicate with their Chinese military counterparts, but they have been unable to get through because those counterparts, they are simply refusing to answer the phone. Natasha Bertrand, CNN at the Pentagon.
Survivors of the deadly Hurricane Otis try to pick up the pieces in Mexico Thursday. Residents in Acapulco searching for supplies, hoping they will soon receive aid. Many in more impoverished areas are up in arms as they worry that tourist areas will receive more government attention than they will. Tens of thousands are without power, and the city's municipal water system is said to be down. At least 27 people were killed as a result of Hurricane Otis. And tensions in the Middle East are on the rise, and so is the death toll in Gaza. As the war between Israel and Hamas escalates, there's calls for Israel to allow aid into Gaza. The U.S., meanwhile, is boosting its presence in the region. John Loring reports.
Roughly 900 American troops are being deployed to the Middle East to provide more protection for U.S. forces and interests overseas, according to the Pentagon.
I can confirm that they are not going to Israel, and that again, they are intended to support regional deterrence efforts and further bolster U.S. force protection capabilities.
The deployed forces are coming from Fort Bliss, Fort Sill, Fort Liberty, and Fort Cavazos.
We're going to continue to communicate with our partners on the importance of civilian safety, but we also recognize Israel's inherent right of self-defense as well.
Israeli military officials say they're preparing for a ground offensive against Hamas following the militant group's fatal attacks on Israel earlier this month.
We are continuing to support Israel's military. Security assistance continues to flow to them as needed almost on a daily basis.
This latest conflict between the Israelis and Palestinians has caused more than 1,400 deaths in Israel and nearly 6,000 in Gaza since the start of the war, according to officials from both sides. Some leaders of the European Union are calling for a humanitarian pause in the war so that much-needed aid can be brought into Gaza.
We're working with partners on the ground to see if we can accelerate and increase the flow of humanitarian assistance in.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The United Nations says aid efforts are hindered by a lack of fuel in Gaza, while Israeli officials say Hamas is controlling the supplies. CNN is unable to verify the Israeli military's claim. And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, sprinting into action to tell you all about the big changes in our temperatures that are on the way. Here's our cold front. We got some scattered showers and thunderstorms developing along this front as it continues to push off to the east-southeast across the area. Not expecting any severe weather, and as you can see, these storms, these little showers here, not very big, but they are there, and you can see them kind of flaring up along the front, and they'll continue to do so, and they'll bring some of us some shower chances. They're going to bring all of us considerably colder weather. Quick look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. If you notice, the ground is a little bit on the wet side out there because we've got a heavy drizzle that's falling in Joplin. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Again, if you look close enough, you can see some of the watermarks out there. And down in Neosho, it's difficult to tell for sure on some of these, but it does look like they may be getting on in the drizzle down there as well. And we noticed it earlier. There were some cars passing by on the KDOT camera here south of Pittsburgh, and you could see it. And if I step over here, you can look close. You see a heavy drizzle falling. Doesn't show up on radar. Turn the sensitivity up as high as it goes. It doesn't show up, but that's a fairly heavy drizzle that's falling out there. We are at 68 in Joplin with a south-southwest breeze at about 9 miles an hour. And I pause this. Here's the cold front with the wind arrow shift, and look at the cold temperatures that are back behind this. So our friends in Yates Center, for example, you were at 69 earlier. That's probably your high for today because that cold front is now starting to sweep through, and you're going to get cold. Friends Sedan, Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, these are very likely going to be your highs as well, and maybe even as far east as Independence, Parsons, and possibly to Fort Scott. What you're seeing may be as warm as you get. Now out to the east, some of us are going to get a little bit warmer out there ahead of this front, but all of us will start to get cold. So that front moves on through the morning hours, and by about noon, 1 o'clock, it's out of here. And take a look at what it leaves behind as the temperatures begin to plummet back behind this front. Now, the good news is we're going to stay mostly cloudy. And you would say, man, the clouds aren't good news. But remember, in the wintertime, it's great news because the clouds act as a bit of a thermal blanket. They'll trap in some of the warmer air that we get to keep. And so our lows, for the most part, are going to stay in the low to mid 40s out there, maybe even some upper 40s. We go into Saturday morning, 10 a.m., another round of showers and thunderstorms, and then we'll say numerous scattered showers and storms throughout the day on our Saturday. We're going to be chilly in the 40s and 50s, and then Sunday, our temperatures, our highs, we're going to hit those about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to fall again through the day, so we're not anticipating any wintry weather, but this is going to be a very cold rain as we go through our Sunday across the 4 states out there. So this thing there it goes. As you saw, it's kind of locking up on me. We're going to go again mid-50s for us on Saturday. Showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, falling temperatures. So our low 46. That's going to be our high Sunday. Temperatures gradually falling through the day to about 30. And then even though the sun comes out next week, initially we're quite cold. So Halloween, again, you're going to have to bundle up or maybe find an indoor trunk or treat event or something along those lines, or just get out there and just rush the kids as fast as you can because we're talking only 48 for the high. So when you go trick-or-treating, we are looking at the 30s later in the evening, so definitely be prepared for that. And make sure your pipes and your plants and, of course, yourself are prepared for this because we're going to drop below freezing for several nights, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. Then as we go into the second half of next week, we do get a little bit more mild, back into the mid to upper 50s, even some low 60s out there. And then we've got some additional rain chances by next Saturday. That's a quick check of your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
A long-lost couple interrupted by the Korean War has been reunited 70 years after they met. Drew Mickelson was there for the reunion in Washington State on Monday.
Did you sleep last night?
Oh, yeah. It's like Christmas morning, a birthday party, and the first visit from the Tooth Fairy, all in one.
I think about her all the time.
Everyone at Revel Issaquah has been looking forward to this day.
Claude has a very special guest coming over.
But no one has waited as long as Claude.
I have not seen her since 1958. That's her. Yeah. She won the prettiest lady on campus when she went to college. And they would bus the girls up to Fort Devens for dances. And that's how I met her.
Claude and Marita spent just 4 weekends together in 1953, right before he shipped off to Germany with the Army. They never talked again until Claude found Marita's phone number in 2009.
I said, "You can't guess who this is." She said, "Claude Frabel?" Amazing. And she remembered my voice for that length of time.
They chatted regularly and exchanged pictures of their families, but haven't seen each other since the 1950s.
She just is flying in right now to SeaTac.
Claude landed this special date thanks to help from his independent living community. Marita lives at Revel in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the company paid for this reunion.
70 years of anticipation.
And after all that waiting, Marita showed up 20 minutes early.
That's what you're waiting for.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Hold on. I gotta put a microphone on you.
Even the guest of honor can't wait.
Hold on.
Did you see how excited she was?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is cute. Hey, Claude.
It's time.
Your sweetheart's here.
Finally.
Let's go get her.
It's happening.
Welcome, welcome.
It's been a lifetime. A moment.
It's kind of exciting.
Where's Claude?
7 decades in the making.
I really am trying not to cry. I love you too.
Oh, God. So good to see you. Oh, what a beautiful.
Oh, it's sweet. It's a sweet story. They haven't seen each other in 70 years. Yeah.
Their spouses have passed. They have grandchildren. Marita survived brain and lung cancer.
Well,
so much to talk about.
I was so fortunate to, you know, a little old farm kid from Pennsylvania.
yeah, well, he was a tall and very handsome and a good dancer.
This story will not end with a wedding. These two long-lost lovers are going to keep things simple and just stay friends.
I'm just glad to see him again. And the fact that we are both
This is the happiest day of my life.
Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
That is the most romantic story I've ever heard. Good for them, and very much look forward to hearing more about their reunion. Well, we'll be right back with more news after this. Domino's understands people might be feeling the pinch now that the student loan repayments have resumed. To help out, they are giving away $1 million worth of emergency pizza. Each day, the chain is offering 4,200 codes for free medium 2-topping pizza. That will continue until it reaches $1 million. Codes must be redeemed by December 10th. Customers can apply at domino's.com/student-loans. And everyone loves the underdog, but what about the undercat? It's time to celebrate one of the most overlooked felines and National Black Cat Day. These dark creatures of the night captivate our imaginations around Halloween time, but they're really not creepy. That's just an old superstition. Black cats are just as loving and affectionate as any other kitty. Their unlucky reputation helps keep them among the least adopted cats at shelters. So, buck that trend and show a black cat some love.
See, we had a black cat when I was a kid, and that cat was great and didn't bring us any bad luck whatsoever, except when she passed away. Then we were very sad, but that wasn't really bad luck, and that's not her fault. She got old. It happens. All right, here's what's happening with us. Take a look. We go from 70 to 61. You know something's up. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, gusty south winds, cold front rolling through. So we're going to reach our highs this morning, and then these temperatures are going to begin to fall as we head through the day. So again, early highs around 72. Some of us, though, like Yates Center, you hit your high of 69. That cold front's already rolling through, and that's as warm as you're going to be today. We'll have falling temperatures through the day and mostly cloudy skies. Showers and storms in that front out of here by about 1. But the nice thing is the mostly cloudy skies also help to lock in the temperature. So we start to stay right around the mid 40s out there. However, it also means that, boy, it is going to feel downright cold for a while. Mid 50s tomorrow, more showers and storms. Same on Sunday. Then we go mid 40s all the way through Halloween. Overnight lows Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, down into the 20s and 30s. That's a quick check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, how the Caney Valley School District is adapting to the city's water shortage.
Now we've got a cold front rolling through the area. That's going to bring us some scattered showers and storms. It's also going to bring us much colder temperatures. We're going to take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, survivors of domestic violence in Miami, Oklahoma turn out for a night of support.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, and apparently I can't make coffee.
Horrible coffee. I don't know how you mess this up. You literally just scoop the coffee beans in there.
That's what I did.
It's water. He made water.
Yesterday's was worse, but I don't know what happened with yesterday's, but
I don't know how you do it, Chris, but you always manage to surprise me.
Sometimes I surprise I'm going to be honest. I've been drinking it. Definitely not the best cup of coffee I've ever had, but you know what? There's at least a little caffeine in there, and it helps. Kind of helps a little, or maybe not at all. I don't know, but if you all can, is there somebody out there who wants to come up here every morning and make us fresh coffee? That might be a good option.
There you go.
Boy, I certainly can't do it, and apparently we're just going to have to go without, and that's not good. Let's take a look at what we don't have to go without, and we do not have to go without rain. We do not have to go without cold temperatures. I know some of you are probably like, man, I'll take the rain, but not that cold weather. Unfortunately, it's an all or none deal here. So here's our cold front, stretching way back up to the north, back way down to the south. A few isolated showers, a couple of thunderstorms out there. These are expected. We're expecting to see a few more scattered storms with this activity as this front pushes on through off to the southeast. But as you can see, they're really struggling to get going, and we're not really expecting, of course, any severe weather, but some scattered storms will be possible. We got a heavy drizzle falling, and you can see the drops on the KDOT camera, and you can see the wet roadways on the MoDOT camera in Joplin. 68 in Joplin, 69 Pittsburgh. As I've mentioned, the heavy drizzle just is not showing up on radar at all. I looked as close as I could, turned the sensitivity up as high as it goes. It's not showing up, but it's definitely there. 69 when the kids get on the bus this morning. For most of us, scattered showers and storms, south breeze out there, could be gusting to 25. Then that wind shifts out of the north behind the front. Temperatures falling through the day, mostly cloudy. Mid-50s when the bus brings them home. Showers and storms wrap up by about noon, 1 o'clock as the front exits, and those temperatures continue to fall through the day back into the upper 40s by the evening. They are going to get colder yet, and that's going to have an impact on your Halloween plans. We'll talk about that in the forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A fatal crash takes the life of a Neotazi, Kansas woman. The crash occurred Wednesday just east of K99. A Chevy Impala and a Kia Soul were traveling eastbound on US 166 when the Impala crossed the center line and struck a westbound Dodge Charger. The Charger lost control and the Kia Soul struck the Charger. Pamela Elong and the driver of the Kia Soul were killed in the crash. Next of kin has been notified. And in Bourbon County, a two-vehicle crash takes the life of a Milan, Missouri man. This happened Wednesday night on US 54. A westbound Toyota RAV4 failed to yield to a Jeep Wrangler traveling east while making a left turn and struck the Wrangler. The occupant of the Wrangler, Nathaniel Moorhead, was killed in the crash. And take a look at what a Miami Police Department drone showed during a manhunt in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Authorities were looking for Richard Foley, who was wanted on numerous warrants. The thermal imaging feature on the drone showed Foley hiding in tall grass where he couldn't be spotted at ground level. The police drone operator directed officers to the location. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, Quapaw Marshals, BIA, and Miami Police Department were all involved in that search. Authorities caught Foley and booked him on a long list of crimes involving burglary, a bogus check, and various driving offenses. Authorities have identified skeletal remains found near Humboldt back in March. Dennis Lushbach from Iola, Kansas, disappeared more than 6 years ago. His disappearance sparked extensive searches across southern Allen County. Sheriff Brian Murphy confirms the skeletal remains belong to Lushbach. His family has been notified, and the cause of death is ruled undetermined, but the sheriff does not suspect any foul play in Lushbach's death. The Caney Valley School District in Kansas is adapting to Caney's ongoing water shortage. So far, most of the water-conserving efforts have been on the district's wallet through purchasing trailer restrooms and passing out bottled water. However, truckloads of donations have made the bills a little lighter.
Thankfully, today was a very big day for our community. So Walmart stepped up and donated 3 semi-trucks full. So I believe it was over 60 pallets of water. And then we also received a donation as well from from Hope as well.
Caney Valley School District also replaced showers in locker rooms with foam spray that acts as a skin cleaner. Miami, Oklahoma residents gathered this evening showing support for victims of domestic violence. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Domestic abuse and the victims it affects are all around us. However, the Wyandotte Nation Domestic Violence Program brought community members together to honor those who fall victim to domestic violence.
Domestic violence isn't selective, and it doesn't just happen to weak people. It doesn't just happen to people that are addicted. It doesn't just happen to people that are lower economic class. It can happen to anybody.
Lisa Arnold is not only a domestic violence survivor, but also the one who led the charge to put this event together.
My heart is very involved in the job that I do. You know, I started doing this position 6 years ago, and it's not a job for me. It's part of who I am.
Demonstrating strength and leadership to those who rallied to show support.
I think one of the most common questions that people ask me is like, why didn't you leave? Why would you stay after being hurt like that and being treated like that? There are so many reasons, and as I stand here before you today, none of them feel good enough anymore.
Although the event carried the weight of a very heavy topic, the night was filled with love and support from community members and organizations, all of which longing to bring an end to domestic violence. Reporting in Miami, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Those who attended were also able to get food and were entered to win prizes. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in their first 7 minutes. Coming up on KOAM News at Morning News. Multiple Maine communities are still on lockdown this morning as the search continues for Robert Card, the suspect in Wednesday's mass shootings. Plus, new House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly wrote in support of the criminalization of gay sex. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, off the coast of Washington State, one of 2 missing fishermen who were aboard a vessel that disappeared mid-October was found alive by a couple of Good Samaritans on Thursday. Madison Wade has the story.
A bright orange fleck bobbing on the horizon alerted a passing fishing boat. Someone might need help.
Yeah, I just saw something that looked like a life raft in the distance, and I see him waving his paddle around. And then he shot off a flare.
Ryan and his Uncle John were out early with friends on a fishing excursion that turned into a rescue mission.
It was flat calm, so he could see him. He had his last flare. He lit it there. We'd already seen him by then, though.
When they got closer, they snapped this picture. The man inside that raft is a missing fisherman from Westport.
We pulled him on board, and he was just overwhelmed. Like, he gave me a big hug and started crying, so it was kind of emotional.
John says he was alone on the raft for 13 days. No food or water.
Yeah, he caught a salmon, he said, The fishing gear that they have in the life raft. That's quite the story.
It was fate or divine intervention that sent John to the exact spot where the life raft was.
We made a breakfast, got some food, water in them. I think he drank 3 bowls of water right away. He ate a couple sandwiches. He was pretty hungry, the poor guy.
The U.S. Coast Guard initially searched, but eventually called off their search.
How he even lived through it was a miracle.
Help then arrived for the fishermen they found. The Canadian Coast Guard met up with John's boat to take the fishermen to the hospital.
There you go, buddy. Thanks a lot, guys.
With a wave and a thank you goodbye. Their rescue mission is over. A life once lost at sea, saved.
You can't make this up.
It made our day.
Not only did you all help him, but you literally saved his life.
Yeah, I guess if you look at it that way, I don't think he would have lasted much longer out here, that's for sure.
The second fisherman who was aboard the vessel remains missing. And new House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly wrote in support of the criminalization of gay sex when he was an attorney for a socially conservative legal group in the mid-2000s. In one editorial that ran in his local Shreveport, Louisiana paper, Johnson called homosexuality an inherently unnatural and dangerous lifestyle. At the time, Johnson was an attorney and spokesman for Alliance Defense Fund, where he also authored his opposition to the Supreme Court ruling in Lawrence v. Texas, which overturned state laws that criminalize homosexual activity between consenting adults. During an interview with Fox News Thursday, Johnson reportedly said he did not remember some of the editorials and went on to say he genuinely loves all people regardless of their lifestyle choices. Johnson won the Speaker's gavel Wednesday with unanimous Republican support after the House ousted former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The judge in the civil fraud case against former President Donald Trump in New York defended his $10,000 sanction against Trump on Thursday. Judge Arthur Agaron issued the fine Wednesday after he ruled Trump violated the gag order barring public comments about members of the judge's staff. Before trial testimony began Thursday, Trump attorney Chris Kise asked Engoron again to reconsider the fine. The judge later rewatched the video of the comments and said the fine stands. Kise has argued the allegation of bias Trump made on Wednesday to reporters was referring to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, not the judge's clerk. In a written order Thursday, the judge said it's clear Trump was talking about his clerk, not Cohen. Trump's legal team indicated they intend to appeal the sanction. Senate Democrats are eyeing a new plan aimed to work around Alabama GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville's holds on military promotions. The plan would require a temporary change in rules that would allow hundreds of military nominations to be approved at the same time. The idea has been circulating for months, but has gained momentum as it has become increasingly clear that Tuberville will not relent. Tuberville has been holding up votes over his opposition of the Defense Department's policy of reimbursing travel costs for service members who have to go across state lines to seek an abortion. The plan would need at least 9 Republican votes on the Senate floor to pass. Many Republicans say they are opposed to the move. The department enacted the policy after the reversal of Roe v. Wade last year, overturning the constitutional right to an abortion and leaving the issue to individual states. The floated rules change could come before the Senate Rules Committee as soon as next week. Multiple Maine communities are still on lockdown this morning as the search continues for Robert Card, the suspect in Wednesday's mass shootings. 18 people were killed and 13 injured in the attacks on a Lewiston bowling alley and a restaurant. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn is in the town with the latest.
A bright orange fleck bobbing on the horizon alerted a passing fishing boat. Someone might need help.
Yeah, I just saw something that looked like a life raft in the distance, and I see him waving his paddle around. And then he shot off a flare.
Ryan and his uncle John were out early with friends on a fishing excursion that turned into a rescue mission.
It was flat calm, so he could see him. He had his last flare. He lit it there. We'd already seen him by then, though.
When they got closer, they snapped this picture. The man inside that raft is a missing fisherman from Westport.
We pulled him on board, and he was just overwhelmed. Like, he gave me a big hug and started crying, so it was kind of emotional.
John says he was alone on the raft for 13 days. No food or water.
Yeah, he caught a salmon, he said, but the fishing gear that they have in the life raft, that's quite the story.
It was fate or divine intervention that sent John to the exact spot where the life raft was.
We made a breakfast, got some food, water in him. I think he drank 3 bowls of water or 5. He ate a couple sandwiches. He was pretty hungry, the poor guy.
The U.S. Coast Guard initially searched, but eventually called off their search.
How he even lived through it was a miracle.
Help then arrived for the fishermen they found. The Canadian Coast Guard met up with John's boat to take the fishermen to the hospital.
There you go, buddy. Thanks a lot, guys.
With a wave and a thank you goodbye. Their rescue mission is over. A life once lost at sea, saved.
You can't make this up.
It made our day.
Not only did you all help him, but you literally saved his life.
Yeah, I guess if you look at it that way, I don't think he would have lasted much longer out here, that's for sure.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got actually a heavy drizzle falling in Joplin and in parts of even Pittsburgh and down to Neosho. Well, it is ahead of some showers and thunderstorms along a cold front, packing a punch temperature-wise. We'll take a look at that forecast when we come back.
About killer robots and a reanimated corpse, and the final song from the Fab Four. David Daniel has it all.
When we lost John, we knew that it was really over.
I was talking to Yoko, and she said, I think I've got a tape of John.
John Lennon wrote Now and Then and recorded vocals in 1970. The other Beatles worked on it later, and Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney finished it this year. Wednesday, the documentary Now and Then, the last Beatles song hits YouTube. Thursday, the song is released, and next Friday, the music video debuts.
Ghost children possessing giant robots.
Five Nights at Freddy's director Emma Tammy says she had not played the game before she took on the movie adaptation.
I started playing it as soon as I found out about the project. I played a lot of games as a kid and a teenager, and I haven't played a lot of games as an adult. But it starts coming back right away. It's just like, it was hard to put down.
There's a young man. I talked to him. I wish I was with you.
Here's your first look at Lisa Frankenstein, starring Katherine Newton and Cole Sprouse, written by Diablo Cody and directed by Zelda Williams. Lisa Frankenstein arrives in theaters February 9th, for Valentine's Day, of course. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see what the Beatles song comes out with. It's amazing what they can do with technology these days. And now let's take it over to Chris for your weekend forecast.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a cold weekend ahead of us and a very chilly Halloween. We've also got some showers and thunderstorms on the way and a lot of heavy drizzle in parts of the area. We'll take a look at your full forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:24 now on this finally Friday. So there's our cold front stretching across the area. Showers and thunderstorms, they're scattered. They're trying to get going, but they have really been struggling. But we're starting to see a few more. I got to fix this radar. A few more developing out ahead of the front, but you can see where they're just not really getting going. They're going to try and pick up as we go through the morning and get a little more warmer weather out there ahead of this front. But again, the good news is not anticipating any severe weather. We got wet roads and parking lots from our camera at the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Cloudy skies as we've had a fairly heavy drizzle falling, and you can see those wet roads from the MoDOT camera 32nd and Range Line, and roads looking dry in Neosho for the time being from the MoDOT camera down there. However, we go up to Pittsburgh, at least earlier, I haven't seen a car go by, so I haven't had a chance to really look, but the roads were a little bit wet for some of that drizzle reaching that far north. But here, if I step out of the way, look in our light, you can see it's a fairly heavy drizzle that's falling in Joplin. We're otherwise cloudy, sitting at 68, south-southwest breeze at 9. And take a look. these wind arrow shifts, this is the cold front, and look at this cold air that's back behind it. Now starting to get in to the Yates Center area. So earlier you were at 69, as I mentioned. That's very likely your high for today. Your temperatures are going to continue to fall as this front pushes out to the south and east. So 70, Sedan, Neodesha, Chanute, 67, Iola. Again, these are probably going to be your highs. And I think we're going to get a little warmer ahead of that point. So Fort Scott, Parsons, Independence, Point Southeast, going to get a little bit warmer this morning before that front rolls through and drops our temperatures. So take a look out ahead of the front. Here it is at about 11:30 noon, right off to the southeast of Joplin. So 67 still, 60 in Pittsburgh. But look at Cassville, 73, 71 Monette. And you go back up toward Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute, back into the upper 40s. So we're going to stay cloudy, and we'll dry out, and we'll hold on to the clouds to the evening and overnight, which is a good thing, because that'll act as a bit of a thermal blanket to help keep us a little warmer. Upper 30s out west. We're going to go low to mid 40s out to the east. And then showers and thunderstorms return by tomorrow morning. They'll be scattered, and then we'll see more numerous scattered storms across the area as we go through our Saturday. It's going to be a chilly rain. Again, points out west. You can see into the 40s, out to the east a little bit warmer, and then we eventually start falling back through the evening hours on our Saturday. Sunday, our temperatures, it's going to be similar to today. We're going to reach our high very early, and temperatures will fall through the day, and we'll have scattered showers, so very cold rain out there. Now, even though it's going to get pretty darn chilly, at this point, it's not looking like any of this is going to transition into any kind of wintry precipitation, but it is definitely going to be a cold rain across the area through our Sunday as we fall back into the 30s by the evening hours out there. Let's take a look down the road. So temperature is going to get even colder, mid 50s for our highs on Saturday. Overnight low of 46 Saturday night. That's going to be our high early Sunday morning, say 1, 2 o'clock. And temperatures will be gradually falling through the day with those showers across the area. Back in around to 30. 45 Monday, 48 for our high on Halloween. So that means when it's in the evening hours, time for trick-or-treating, we're talking going out in the 30s out there. So make sure you're bundled up, or again, maybe find an indoor event you can go to, or just push the kids as fast as you can from place to place, because it's going to be cold. Lows below freezing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night as well. We start to go a little milder by the second half of next week, back into the 60s and 50s with some additional showers on Saturday. Let's check your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, doctors say they found an amino acid that could play a role in which people will develop long COVID. Researchers from the University of Alberta studied COVID patients and discovered people with low levels of taurine were more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID. People with high levels of taurine, which the liver produces and is found in meat and fish, had lesser symptoms. The findings could lead to better treatments for COVID. Scientists have found a genetic link between irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, and endometriosis. A University of Queensland study showed women with endometriosis are twice as likely to have IBS. Both illnesses are painful and difficult to diagnose. Doctors hope the link can help improve treatments and diagnosis in the future. A new study from MIT and Harvard sheds light on how adults understand children first when they're learning to speak. Even when young children can't fully form words, adults can often interpret what the child means based on the context and past conversations. Researchers say when adults successfully understand what a child is trying to communicate, it helps improve their speech. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Pittsburgh attorneys lend a helping hand during Pro Bono Week.
We've got some heavy drizzle out there for some of us, so some wet roadways across the area. Scattered storms trying to develop along a cold front and much colder temperatures behind that. Have a look at your first forecast coming up.
Plus, Freeman Health debuts a pair of mass casualty communication trailers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:31 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, so it wasn't too bad coming in this morning. A little bit on the mild side.
Yeah.
But I hope you brought your coat. Did you bring a coat?
Always, Chris.
I did not bring a coat. I told myself, I said, yeah, you know what, it'll be fine. It won't be that bad. And I'm starting to think, I was wrong, and you know how much I don't like the cold, and I don't know why I don't plan ahead. I know these things. I talk about these things.
This is your job, Chris.
I know, it's what I do, and I still don't plan for myself. I help you plan, and then I just don't do it for me. So let's help you plan your day, and at least the start of your day. Take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. Look at how few those showers have become out along the front. Got a few trying to develop now ahead of it, but you can still see the front itself, but just not a lot going on. We had a few more showers and storms earlier, and they're just kind of fizzling out. We're still anticipating a little more development along this line as it rolls on through, and so at least a few showers will still be possible, but the big story behind this is how cold it's going to get. So enjoy these temperatures right now. Got a heavy drizzle in Joplin and near the Pittsburgh area as well. 68 in Joplin, 69 in Pittsburgh. Kids getting on the bus, depending on how that line goes. Some of us will see some scattered showers and storms. The rest of us, it's going to be cloudy, it's going to be breezy, and it's going to start to get chilly. Upper 60s for most of us by the time the kids get on the bus. Winds out of the south could be gusting to 25. And then this afternoon, look at this, mostly cloudy, mid-50s. And that wind out of the north now, and could still be gusting upwards of 25. Take a look at this. Temperatures not bad, near 70 at 9 a.m. Then that cold front rolls through, and then they start to fall back. And then we are back into the upper 40s by this evening, and that is not even as cold as it's going to get. We're talking some big changes in our temperatures. We're going to take a look at that full forecast, including Halloween, here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, it's National Pro Bono Celebration Week, and locally, the Pittsburgh office of the Kansas Legal Services helps low-income Kansans by providing legal and mediation services. Between 2020 and 2022, they've served more than 1,600 clients. 70% of them are women.
Sadly, in today's society, if there's abuse or violence in the household, they are more likely to be the victims and the ones who need assistance. And that isn't to say that men are not victims of domestic violence too, because they can be.
ALS attorneys assist people who live in households with annual incomes at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. Clients include the working poor, veterans, homeowners and renters, families with children, farmers, people with disabilities, and the elderly. The city of Joplin yesterday held a public meeting to discuss the next steps on a project to widen Connecticut Avenue. Construction on the final phase is set to begin soon. It'll focus on the area from 32nd Street to I-44 Bridge. The project will widen the street to 5 lanes with a curb and gutter. It also will have a 10-foot wide sidewalk and bike trail on the west side with a 6-foot wide sidewalk on the east side.
People will see it first is some tree removal on the east side of Connecticut. There is also some very important stormwater improvements. Part of this project is, in fact, it's 2 projects. It's a drainage project to improve the overall drainage of the area, and it's a street widening project, so it's a combined project.
The project is funded through a capital improvement sales tax approved by voters in 2014. Freeman Health System yesterday showed off one of its 2 new mass casualty communication trailers. The equipment went online earlier this month. Both trailers can provide rapid emergency aid and uninterrupted communications during a local or regional disaster. One of them will be based in Joplin and the other in Neosho, but according to Freeman Health System, it will be available to the whole community.
If there's a severe weather incident, any type of train derailment, this can be rolled out by the hospital staff, by EMS, fire, or emergency management. It can be a staging area and a triage area to treat trauma victims.
Having this type of a trailer that's got a lot of supplies on it to be able to treat a large amount of patients out on the scene prior to them being transported to the hospital, I think is very beneficial for the citizens.
Freeman Health System says each unit has enough supplies to stabilize and do the initial triage for up to 200 victims. Also over at Freeman Health, they witnessed an adorable scene yesterday afternoon. NICU babies dressed up in cute Halloween costumes. The outfits were handcrafted by Liberal High School students. The day provided a way to offer parents the opportunity to celebrate their kids' first holiday, even though it's not the ideal situation. And oh dear, things got quite wild after school at McKinley Elementary yesterday. At about 3 p.m. yesterday, a deer ran into McKinley Elementary School and then into the library. Kids were going to buses as normal, and witnesses say before you know it, there was a deer in the library. The doors to the library were secured, so the deer was in the library alone. Joplin Animal Control were summoned to remove the deer, and on scene, spectators could observe the deer jumping up on windows that face the atrium. It was jumping at the window continually for a few minutes, tearing down the blinds in the process. The windows, however, did not break. Minutes later, someone opened the library door and the deer ran back outside. No one was injured in the occasion. Stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We have our own Shannon Becker joining us in studio to talk about his big 3 news stories of the week.
And we've got heavy drizzle for some, cold temperatures for all. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in a few more minutes when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back. We've got our very own Shannon Becker in studio with his big 3 stories of the week. Shannon, what do you got for us?
All right, dear. I've got something for you, okay? Burlington opens this morning, 9 o'clock. Got a little bit of a tour yesterday. If you haven't been inside of Burlington before, it's kind of like I would kind of compare it to a Ross maybe, or a TJ Maxx. I haven't been in one, if I ever have, I don't know, maybe 20 years. So it'll be interesting to see. Opens up this morning at 9. They have insane hours, open 9 a.m. to midnight.
What?
Yeah, midnight.
All right.
Yeah, Ross is always open to 11 at least. They're still hiring at Burlington. It's 409 Geneva. Today they'll in fact open 19 other stores across the country. In the Bed Bath & Beyond bankruptcy, they bought the leases from the bankruptcy court. So that's how they could open this up in less than 90 days.
Move.
Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now. There it is. Deer. Look at that. Maybe we have to name this deer or something. So yesterday, I got information that there was a deer in the library. I went right over before the animal control got there, and the deer was jumping up on the windows that faced the atrium. It was mind-blowing. Kids had already left for the day, so all the kids were missing it. There was a group of teachers I was standing with taking this video.
I can't believe you didn't break through that window.
Or do more damage.
Yes.
Because it was very minimal damage. Obviously got some deer fur probably to clean up in there. These are pictures from the Joplin School District. There he is just checking out one of the sections that he loves, the hunting section. But it's to protect himself though, stay away from the hunters. You got to read their story about it. So you can read more on our website, KOAM News Now. No one was injured. A staff member opened up the door and the deer ran out. Our number 1 story, another animal story. That was kind of a close call for me filming that.
You were right up in that.
At me. Yeah, I was, exactly. That's the end of a cattle hauler. It collided with the end of another semi-tractor trailer. A little more details about it. The cattle hauler had to swerve to avoid a car that had moved into their lane. And as they kind of swerved a little bit, the cows shifted. And so that's why it struck this trailer, which was carrying beauty products. A lot of hair color is what I mostly noticed. It took about 7 hours before I-44 was clear that day. No humans were injured, but there were quite a few cows, heifers, that did die. And then our bonus story, I can't stop talking about it because it's so popular. Our Halloween Lights Drive-By List 2023. We were in Galena the other night. They always do a fantastic job on Short Street and 19th. Isn't that fun?
It's beautiful. I'm so impressed.
This is in Baxter Springs. Jay Olson, he does his own decorations and builds them.
Oh, that's cool.
This is 22nd Annie Baxter, Southern Hills Drive here. It's kind of a neat little homage to the scariness. And nothing's really scary.
Yes, it's all good fun and in the spirit of Halloween.
And Drake and Moore also, which is out on Crow Road. So that's your big 3 this week.
I love that.
My dear.
Thanks, Shannon. Those are great stories. I appreciate it.
I've been trying to think of deer jokes, but
oh yeah, yeah, it's not happening.
If you paid me $1, maybe I'd tell you more.
Oh, good one. Good one, Shannon. All right. Well, we've got more news coming up right after this.
$7. A Sonic cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, or a foot-long chili cheese coney. It might be the greatest pairing since cherry and limeade. Sonic 2 for $7 deal.
Use your smartphone to warm up or cool down your vehicle with a remote start from Creative Audio.
drive cooler. Protect yourself and your interior from the damaging effects of the sun with our Solar FX window tint. Reward yourself and upgrade your audio system in your car, truck, or SUV with speakers. Buy one, get one 50% off. Only at Creative Audio at any of our 7 locations.
Food for Less takes the scary out of grocery shopping, especially with hundreds of items marked down throughout the store on a daily basis. Like Kansas City strip steak in the family pack, $6.86 a pound. A twin pack of Boston butt roast in the bag, $1.86 a pound. A 10-pound bag of russet potatoes, $3.26 a bag. And Blue Ribbon Classic 4-quart pails, $5.26 each. And it's all at Food for Less, where our name says it and our prices prove it. Joplin, Springfield. Food for Less is taking applications. See our website for more information.
It's time for campfire, s'mores, and the great outdoors. Fall camping has arrived, and now is the perfect time to come to Wade's RV to see how fun and affordable RV camping can be. RVs starting as low as $8 a day, only at Wade's RV.
Whether someone is across the neighborhood, across the street, or across the room, you have the power to make them feel right at home. Ritz, a taste of welcome.
Right now, Sonic's small hand mix shakes are $1.99 all day. It sells itself, so I'll just list flavors in my sexy voice. Chocolate, strawberry, peanut butter. $1.99 small classic shakes all day at Sonic.
Time for some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to begin at Fort Scott with Cash Hoderschelt. Celebrating birthday number 1 with happy birthday love coming from Mom, Dad, and Grandma.
All right, and happy 2nd birthday to Ryder Kyle over in Webb City, Missouri.
And Cole Dyke in Thayer celebrating birthday number 6. A very happy birthday to you, Cole. Says we love you very much with love coming from Grandma and Grandpa Sergio.
And happy 7th birthday to Temple Thomason. Says here that she shares her birthday with her grandma Evelyn.
And in Pittsburgh, Milo Ascanio celebrating birthday number 8. 10 Southeast Grade School in Cherokee with lots of love coming from Grandma and Grandpa.
And here's a big one. Happy 18th birthday to Mason Honeshell.
And Shirley Hensley in Cato, Kansas, celebrating another year wiser, says, happy birthday, Momo. We love you to the moon and back.
Taking it over to Carl Junction, happy birthday to Dennis Eckhart.
And in Jasper, Dale Earl celebrating number 73. Happy birthday, Dale.
And happy birthday to Irene Boaz.
Nope, you missed one. Very bottom of your page.
Woo-hoo! I apologize. Bration Scholes, happy 4th birthday. Love from your family.
See, we have a big list this time, and that's nice to have. We've also, as Caitlin was mentioning, got Irene Boaz celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Blaine Buchanan, who turns 10 today.
And we've got an anniversary, Dwayne and Flo Reno in Pequea, Kansas, celebrating their 52nd anniversary with love coming from all the kids.
And over in Frontenac, Darian Aguirre, happy birthday to you.
All right, this is a great birthday list. Loved all the messages. Love to see more pictures out there. Caitlin, how can they get us more pictures?
All you have to do is send us an email with the dates and your special someone's name. Be sure to include pictures and any other little messages you want to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, make sure you send those in because we want to celebrate with you. And if you like cold weather, well, you've got a very good reason to celebrate because, by golly, it is about to get cold out there for sure. If you don't like the cold weather, you're going to want to travel back in time a few days when it was a little bit warmer. Here is our cold front stretching across the area. Showers and thunderstorms trying to get going out there, but they are really struggling. Stay out the loop. They started. They were looking okay. They started to kind of fall apart. The good news is, regardless of what we get, we're not anticipating any severe weather, but back behind these showers and storms, much colder weather on the way. Downtown Joplin, our camera at the Cornell Complex, the wet roadways, because we've had a fairly wet, heavy drizzle falling in the Joplin area. And same wet roads from the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range line on the south end of town. Down in Neosho, roads still looking dry down there, so no heavy drizzle from the MoDOT camera, 60 and 59. And if you look, you can see the the raindrops on the camera here from KDOT 69 East 520 south of Pittsburgh. So heavy drizzle reaching up there. And we were showing you earlier, it's not really let up too much, but you can still see we got a light drizzle out there still coming down. Otherwise, cloudy skies, 68 in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at about 9. And here's the cold front where those wind arrows are switching around there. And back behind it, much colder air on the way. Yates Center, get ready. It is getting ready to get chilly. You had a temperature earlier this morning of 69. That's your high. It is not going to get any warmer than that. Sedan, Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, a little warmer, near 70 or at 70. However, I think that's going to be your high as well as that cold front sneaking in on you. Independence, Parsons, Fort Scott, it's going to be iffy. Might go a couple of degrees warmer before the front rolls through. And down to the south and east, we're going to go a little bit warmer as well in the low 70s before that front makes its way through here. So here it is by noon, now just to the southeast of Joplin, Lamar, Stockton, places like that. The cold temperatures are a little delayed getting in here, but they will eventually arrive because you can see Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, mid-40s out there, but still mid-60s, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Lamar. All of us getting in on the cold weather later. Clouds socked in, though, but that's a good thing because the clouds will help at least most of us lock in these temperatures right around the mid-40s. Now, Yates Center, for example, Fredonia, there's a bit of clearing that takes place, and unfortunately, that lets you lose some of the warmth that we get. Not much warmth, but some of it, and you're going to go fall back into the upper 30s. By tomorrow morning, showers, thunderstorms out there, and then we'll see more numerous scattered showers and storms, but it's going to be a chilly rain out there with some of this activity. As look at these temperatures, 40s, 50s, so not very warm at all, and that rain is going to just feel miserable. Then we go into our Sunday, temperatures early highs in the upper 40s. They're going to fall slowly through the day. Here we are at 6 a.m. We go into the afternoon. Look, temperatures already down into the 30s for some of us. And take a look at all this rain, maybe a couple of thunderstorms. Now, the good news is, even though it's going to get pretty darn chilly with this activity, we're not expecting any wintry precipitation, which is good. We don't need that, but it is going to be downright cold. Mid-50s, again, mid-40s early. We're talking 1, 2 o'clock in the morning Sunday. Temperatures falling through the day, 30 for the low. Overnight lows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, going into the upper 20s and mid-30s. Halloween, we're talking 30s when it's trick-or-treating time, so make sure you're bundled up. Otherwise, 48 for the high, 45 Monday, and then we'll try and warm up for the second half of next week. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News makes the switch over to Fox 14, by the way, that happens at 7 a.m., black cats have long been considered a bad omen in Western culture, and studies show those negative stereotypes making it harder for those little guys to get adopted.
Today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A fatal crash takes the life of a Neo-Tazi, Kansas woman. The crash occurred Wednesday just east of K99. A Chevy Impala and a Kia Soul were traveling eastbound on US 166 when the Impala crossed the center line and struck a westbound Dodge Charger. The Charger lost control and the Kia Soul struck the Charger. Pamela Long, the driver of the Kia Soul, was killed in the crash. Next of kin have been notified. And in Bourbon County, a two-vehicle crash takes the life of a Milan, Missouri man. This happened Wednesday night on US 54. A westbound Toyota RAV4 failed to yield to a Jeep Wrangler traveling east while making a left turn and struck the Wrangler. The occupant of the Wrangler, Nathaniel Moorhead, was killed in the crash. Dennis Lushbaugh from Iola, Kansas, disappeared more than 6 years ago. His disappearance sparked extensive searches across southern Allen County. Sheriff Brian Murphy confirms the skeletal remains belong to Lushbaugh. His family has been notified, and the cause of death is ruled undetermined, but the sheriff does not suspect any foul play in Lushbaugh's death. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, quick look at that 7-day forecast. Again, some of us at least, low 70s for highs, and then temperatures falling through the day back into the mid-40s, mid-50s tomorrow, then we'll go mid-40s tomorrow night. Scattered storms on Saturday, scattered showers on Sunday, temperatures falling through the day Sunday as well, down to 30, and then look at that, we are below freezing again Monday and Tuesday night. A very cold Halloween, make sure you're bundled up, and then we'll try and warm up toward the end of next week.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Yummy Mummy Brie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, team coverage from Lewiston, Maine, where the manhunt is still ongoing for the suspected gunman in Wednesday's mass shooting. Plus, they'll be joined by the chief of Central Maine Medical Center for an update on those injured.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, it's the height of spooky season, and we have a sneak of some of the Halloween-themed games.
Plus, we've got Shannon Becker back in the studio to give us his big 3 stories of the week. You don't want to miss that. And that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.